What's going on, guys, and welcome to part 8 of my team career mode for round 7, the Austrian Grand Prix. Now, going into this weekend, the first thing I wanted to have a look at was the R&D. As you can see, we're still behind Alfa Romeo by quite a long way now, and we're really falling into the clutches of Haas, so we really need to make a bit of a move up the table. Looking at our power unit upgrades, this time we're going to stick the first lot of upgrades that are quite worn on the car, but unlike what we forgot to do in France, I'm actually going to change those to the second lot of upgrades for some brand new parts on the car for qualifying, so that we just use some of the worn ones for practice, because we don't really want to wear out new engine parts in practice. Going into Q1 and onto our fastest lap. Now, the Red Bull Ring is a track that I do quite enjoy. It's one of my favorite tracks on the calendar, I would say. But it is also like the shortest lap on the calendar. As we go past one of the Ferraris there, get a little bit of a tow up the straight. As you can see though, we're not currently in the green with our lap time. We're not doing the best lap so far, but we're actually quite a bit down from what I can tell here. But if this is the correct lap, this must be our quickest lap. We must bring it back halfway through the lap or towards the end of the lap, because that first section has not been so good and we're still in the red going down here. But now we go into the green. We obviously brake a little bit later into that corner than we did before. We're now in the green. We obviously lost a lot of time through that kind of middle sector in our last flying lap, and this is where we make all the time up. But it's still not a great run. This is the fastest run from Q1. It's obviously still not a great run because we were like a tenth and a bit down in that first sector, so there would definitely more time to be made. So that is our time there. We go on to our next flying lap, and this one, well, it was going alright. We were still in the red here, but then I touched the curb here, span it round, tried to catch it, and just flicked it round, and there we are, we're off the track. Yellow flags out. We try and get it going quickly because I see a bit of a gap before the Red Bull of Perez. But yeah, that was our last chance at a flying lap, and we kind of screwed it up. So we're P10 at the moment, but it's not going to be enough to get us through to Q2, as that one flying lap was not very good, and it's actually not good at all. We're in P20, only just above our teammate Lundgaard. So once again, we're not doing so well in qualifying, so we've got quite a lot of work to do in the race as usual.
Welcome to the beautiful Styrian Mountains for another chapter in the story of the Austrian Grand Prix. The Spielberg circuit then is situated 700 meters above sea level, with just 10 corners making up one of the shortest laps of the season. One time around here is a distance of 2.6 miles, with the best overtaking chances into turn 1 or the tight uphill turn 3. Alongside me to discuss all the action today is Anthony Davidson. Thanks for joining us, Ant, and tell me, you were down in the pit lane earlier. How do you think the track conditions are today?
Well, the surface looks clean enough, but I'm a little bit worried about the track temperature. It's pretty cool out there, which could give some teams difficulties when it comes to keeping their tyres in the right operating window. The cars out there that work their tyres hard and really put a lot of energy through them, they'll be the ones that are better off.
Before we begin, let's take a quick look at the grid lineup for today's race. Good job yesterday from Valtteri BOTTAS. The Finn starts from pole position, and Lewis Hamilton completes the front row. Considering the rest of the grid, we have Ricciardo, Verstappen, Sergio Perez and Leclerc, Sainz, Fernando Alonso, Vettel and Pierre Gasly, Ocon, Stroll, Yuki Tsunoda and Raikkonen. Norris, they've taken a grid penalty. Mick Schumacher, Antonio Giovinazzi and George Russell. Shaw, Latifi, Mazepin, they'll be starting further back after an earlier grid penalty. And Christian Lundgaard. And with lights out just moments away, it's time to go down to the track.
So it's actually not a great start for our team. We're one place up, but yeah, Lundgaard is now at the bottom of the grid. As we start the Austrian Grand Prix, it is a pretty decent start for us. However, we've actually got our teammate, actually I think it's Latifi on the inside, and our teammate's trying to get through there too, but we're on the outside of Giovinazzi into turn 1. It's a lot of cars into a pretty small part of track as we go down the big main straight. We're tucked up behind GIOVINAZZI right now. As you can see, it's 3 wide up ahead. We go for a bit of a dive on GIOVINAZZI. We go for a bit of a dive on a bunch of cars. There's a caution into this corner. Must have been a little bit of contact, or maybe it's just all the cars shoving into that one corner. But we make up quite a few positions there. We're up into, what is that, P16? P16. We're ahead of Raikkonen. I mean, everybody was just so slow and had massive gaps up the inside going into that hairpin there that we just kind of flew down the inside, gained up about 4 positions, I'd say, in that one corner alone. So it's a pretty good start for us. We're now behind Lance Stroll and Nicholas Latifi flying high up in P14. However, Lance Stroll is going to get past him up ahead. You can see they're going side by side through here, and I mean, Stroll is the much quicker car with Latifi, and now Latifi is in the clutches of us. So we're going to get a bit of slipstream, got the ERS going on Latifi. We're going to go to the inside. He goes a little bit defensive, but nothing too crazy. We should be able to get the pass on the Williams relatively easy. We're ahead of them in R&D, and Latifi is quite a bit slower driver, so it's a relatively good overtake from us. On to lap 6, and now we're kind of just... We're losing time. We're losing quite a lot of time to Stroll and Norris up ahead, and have actually made a pretty decent gap to Raikkonen behind. The team wants to change to a one-stop strategy, so we're going to go for that. We're going to see how that goes. Softs to, I believe it might have been hards, or it was mediums. I'm not 100% sure. I think the original one was softs to 2 mediums. This is now softs to 1 hard. George Russell, however, is out of the session there. As we watch on a little replay here, he's in a bit of a battle with, who is that? I think that's his teammate actually ahead, Latifi, and he's got the 2 Haas behind him and my teammate. However, another engine issue for George Russell. That's 2 races in a row that he's had engine issues and had to retire, as he retired in the French Grand Prix last time out. We've then got a battle going on a little bit further up the grid. Fernando Alonso going around the outside of Sebastian Vettel at the hairpin. He's not got the move done yet. They're side by side going all the way down here. Alonso has the DRS here. You can see his wing is open. He just about gets past Vettel. Vettel has a little look on the outside into the next corner, and he has a little sniff up the inside there as well, but he's not able to do it. And Fernando Alonso, he's up into P7. It's a really good start of the race for him, and at the exact same time that little fight was going on, there was a battle going on between the 2 AlphaTauris. Pierre Gasly starting further back because of a grid penalty. He goes around the outside of his teammate Yuki Tsunoda into that same hairpin that Alonso went around the outside of Vettel. However, it's a bit more of a fight from the teammate of Yuki Tsunoda, as these 2 are identical cars. Gasly is still around the outside trying to get past his inexperienced rookie teammate. Yuki Tsunoda at the moment does have the lead. He's managed to keep ahead of his teammate, but Gasly's going to send it to the inside of the next corner. This is a really good battle here, and in the end, Tsunoda just has to let him go. Maybe team orders came into play. They didn't want to come together. Gasly's the more experienced and faster teammate, so Gasly gets the position on Tsunoda. On to lap 8, and once again we're just kind of chilling out here. Raikkonen behind is catching up a little bit, as we're just kind of in no man's land at the moment. We can see the pack of cars up ahead, and we're actually catching them a little bit because they're having such a ding-dong battle up ahead that they're slowing each other down, which means that me and Raikkonen can catch up, and then there's quite a big gap back to Schumacher further down the road. Lap 10, and once again we're just kind of slowly catching up to these guys. We can see them in the distance. There's a big train up ahead of us, but you might see up ahead Lance Stroll goes spinning off the track. We go past him there. Pretty sure he just did that on his own accord. Really strange. So Stroll's gone spinning off the track. There's flags going on all over the place. Green flags at the moment. However, in a second, I reckon there's going to be something else happen. Nikita Mazepin is out of the session. The safety car is deployed. What has happened there? Has that got anything to do with Lance Stroll going off? Obviously, Mazepin was a fair way behind us. So what is going on there? We had Stroll spin off, and then the team is saying, okay, now do you want to go back onto a 2-stop? So we're going to see what happens there. But as you can see with a replay here, Lance Stroll he spins around on his own accord there, just off the track. Luckily he's in a place where he can kind of rejoin safely though. However, he comes back to rejoin onto the track a little bit unsafely perhaps, and then Nikita Mazepin, just not really watching where he's going, smacks straight into the back of the Canadian. I wouldn't say if that's necessarily a unsafe rejoin by Stroll. I mean, he wasn't on the track yet, he was just sitting on the curb. I think Latifi just wasn't really watching where he was going. The rest of the cars in front of him managed to avoid Stroll, but Latifi just riding that curb a little bit too much there, just not watching in front of him, and he smacks into the back of Stroll, and Mazepin is out of the session. Stroll luckily is still going there, however he will have to come into the pits due to probably some, it might even be some chassis damage now, I don't know, but he is still able to go in the race. So we come in to the pits during the safety car because that's what our team decides they want to do. We were originally going to do a 2-stop from softs to 2 mediums. The team then said, let's just do a 1-stop onto hards. Now, because of the safety car, they've gone, alright, well, we're going to go back to the 2-stop then because we can get a free pit stop here. And obviously they don't think we can get to the end on hards or whatever, or they don't think that's the best option. So we go on to a set of mediums. We've lost a few positions. We're now back in P18. And on the restart, well actually we're not on the restart just yet, as we are on lap, what is that, lap 13, and as you can see up ahead, Sebastian Vettel, engine issue, he's pulled off to the side, and Sebastian Vettel is out of the session, him getting a mechanical failure during the safety car, and that is 3 cars out of this race. We've had George Russell and Vettel both out from mechanical failures, and Mazepin from the crash. As we go green on the safety car, we're down in P17 now, and it's not the best getaway from us off the restart, I will be honest. Being at the back of the grid on the restart is quite difficult because you end up kind of getting caught out in an odd place when the track goes green. But we can see up here, Gasly, I think it is, up ahead of us, has got a bit of a gap on us, and we're actually looking back to Kimi Raikkonen, who's behind us now, with Lance Stroll right at the back because of he had to come in to the pits, probably fix a little bit of damage, I don't know, because of Mazepin smacking into the back of him. He's now at the back, but as you can see here, going into a few cars going into the pits here, Christian Lundgaard, and I believe that is that GIOVINAZZI in front of him going into the pits. Bad decision by these two in my opinion. They should have gone into the pits a lap earlier when the safety car was out, or 2 laps earlier when I came in. They're going to lose a lot of time now because of that, because they're coming into the pits literally the lap after the safety car. We look in front of us, Tsunoda is having a bit of a battle with, I think that might be Esteban Ocon up ahead, as we're going to the outside of Pierre Gasly. He's going quite defensive into this corner. We're going to try and hang it round the outside of this corner. Of course, in real life, the Austrian Grand Prix, some big incidents there with Sergio Perez, Lando Norris and Charles Leclerc. We can't quite keep it round the outside though, and Gasly stays ahead of us. We gave it a good shot, but ultimately we couldn't do it. Up ahead of him though, Tsunoda has managed to get the position on Ocon, and now Gasly is chasing down Ocon. So yeah, those AlphaTauris wanting to get into the points. There is a caution though. It is now, I believe, a virtual safety car. So we've had a safety car this race. We've now got a virtual safety car. There's some debris on the track. What has happened here? I've got no idea. Well, we watch on to Lewis Hamilton. He's up in 5th place at the moment. The McLarens are going slow here. Hamilton kind of smacks into the back there. And then Daniel Ricciardo's coming into the pits. And Hamilton just doesn't really see him and just smacks into the back of the McLaren. He's lost his front wing. So Hamilton, it's not a good race for him. He has to do a whole nother lap before he can come back into the pits again to replace that front wing. So yeah, don't really know whose fault that was there. I mean, Ricciardo was going quite slow, but he was on the line to come into the pits, and Hamilton just didn't really see him. Then we go flying past Hamilton there, getting very close to him. He's going very slow because of that damage. He will be coming into the pits this time round, so he's way down the back of the order now. This is not good in his fight with Bottas for the championship, as we're getting a bit of a run on Pierre Gasly. He goes defensive into this corner. There's a big train of cars coming into here. We go down the back straight. We're tucked up behind Gasly now. No DRS yet, but we've got ERS, and we're trying to get past. He squeezes us to the outside a little bit. We try and outbrake him, but he breaks well into this corner. We're once again around the outside here, as Tsunoda is around the outside of Esteban Ocon. In the next corner, Ocon's just about managed to get that position, but Tsunoda's going back past again. We've got past Gasly here, and we're now watching on as Ocon and Tsunoda, they're still side by side. However, Ocon manages to get it. Tsunoda actually slows us up out of this corner, so now we're having a little look up the inside, but it's a tricky place. He's going quite defensive here. We can't quite get the position on the Japanese driver, and we'll kind of have to just fall in line for now. we're in between the two AlphaTauris. Tsunoda is currently the lead AlphaTauri driver, so interesting to see him doing so well, and Gasly perhaps not doing as well here. As we go through here, we get it a little bit wrong out of that corner, not the best run. Pierre Gasly is now going to the inside of us into turn 1. He brakes late, it's too wide, however we just about managed to hang it around the outside and keep the position on Gasly. And as you can see behind us, Kimi Raikkonen is now having a look at Gasly going into the hairpin, and he manages to get that position. Going on to lap 18, and we've got another bit of a change there, and I think I said yeah, I'll change. I believe they wanted to change me onto a set of softs for the last pit stop. I believe that's what it was. I mean, we'll see later on when we come back into the pits. However, coming on to lap 20, we hit the curb a little bit too hard coming down this main straight. That lets Gasly go around the outside. We kind of pinch him to the outside a little bit, but there's not a whole lot we can do. Try and outbrake him into the hairpin. We actually have a little bit of contact with the back right wheel of his car. However, we keep things relatively fine. He's going to duck back in because he doesn't manage to get the position back into the slipstream of us. See if he can do anything into the next corner, but he can't. Onto the next lap, he's going back to the inside for the hairpin once again, and this time he's well ahead of us. And actually, we've got Raikkonen now behind us trying to get that position too. Gasly's just got such a good run through there that he's got the position, but now Raikkonen's on the inside. We're going to try and outbrake the Finn into this next corner. It's the same corner again. We go slightly off the track where we had that little bit of an issue last time with whoever it was. I can't remember. That might have been Tsunoda. As then Lance Stroll is now there with us as well. Of course, he's trying to make his way through the grid after that spin off the track, and when he got hit into the back of by Mazepin, he must not actually have damage because he's managing to still have some decent pace here. I mean, the Aston Martin's quite a bit quicker than us anyway, but yeah, he does look like he's not really got any main chassis damage going on there. He gets past us, but we've got the DRS, we've got the slipstream, we've got ERS deployed. We're going to go for the switchback on Lance Stroll inside of this corner, try and squeeze him out, and then we're going down the back straight. We've got the DRS this time because I think we've got the DRS off Raikkonen, and that was one hell of a little battle with Lance Stroll, but I'm sure that's not over because he is most certainly the faster car. And this is the replay here as Raikkonen goes around the inside of us. We just can't quite defend from him because Lance Stroll, as soon as Raikkonen's pass, is around there, and it's a great little battle with Lance Stroll here, side by side through this whole section. What a good battle. These are the sort of battles that I love. I'm seeing them a lot more in the 2021 game compared to 2020. Just some great battles with the AI, and as you can see there, he gets passes, but then we get behind him, get the DRS, get the slipstream, and go to the inside of him for this corner. And then, yeah, we've just kind of got to squeeze him out into this part of the track right here and keep that position for now, but I'm sure he will eventually get back past us. On to lap 23 now, and we're still cooped up here behind Raikkonen. Stroll's still behind us, giving us a fight, but we want to try and get past Raikkonen now. He doesn't have DRS on the car in front. We're going to have a little look into this corner, but we're not quite close enough. We want to get past Raikkonen here. We're in P10 at the moment, but we do still have a pit stop as Kimi Raikkonen actually comes in for his stop here. Really awkward place with the pits on this track. You know, they hug the inside line there, but you kind of want to take that line. I mean, I think it's the issue that Hamilton had as Lando Norris then goes past us there as we come into the pits on lap 26, and I believe we're coming in for a set of softs. I mean, I'll confirm that in a second when I see, but we started on softs. We went to mediums for the second stint. The third stint was supposed to also be mediums, but I'm pretty sure we're going on to softs. Yes, we are. You can see there the red wall soft tyres. So we're going soft, medium, soft. The strategy's been changed like 3 times throughout this race. It's been a pretty crazy one. But we're on the softs. Lando Norris is behind us there. I imagine he's going to get past us pretty quickly. I mean, he's on the mediums, but they're probably a bit warmer, a bit more bedded in than our tyres, and also the McLaren is just quite a bit of a quicker car. I mean, they're literally fighting up at the front most of the time, so I don't really expect to keep Norris behind, and as you can see here, we just kind of let him go. He locks up a little bit into this corner, but we're not going to fight him. It's just going to lose us time on the cars behind, and I'm trying to catch up to Kimi Raikkonen ahead. That is my main goal here. As you can see, Lando Norris gets past Raikkonen, so now we've got a bit of a buffer back to Charles Leclerc behind. Lance Stroll is actually a fair way up the order there. I don't know if he got past us at one point and has just stayed ahead, or if he has still got to come in and pit. I'm not 100% sure, but yeah, we've got quite the battle going on here. We're trying to catch Kimi Raikkonen on these last few laps. We're going on to lap 32 now of this 36 lap race. We've got the DRS on Raikkonen. He's not got, I don't believe, any DRS on Norris in front. I think he's just a little bit too far back. We maybe slightly outbrake ourselves into that corner, but get a good run up here. We're going to tuck in behind the Iceman and go around the, well, inside of this corner, I guess, for the outside of the hairpin. However, we've already made the position. We've got past him, and we are up into P13. I don't really know if we're going to get much further up the order. At the front of the grid, there's a really interesting fight going on here as Fernando Alonso is tucked up behind Daniel Ricciardo. Daniel Ricciardo's in third place. He's in the podium positions, but Fernando Alonso, he's going around the outside of that hairpin, and he has just got himself up into third place. The position is done. I mean, Daniel Ricciardo might be able to fight back into this next corner with the slipstream. I think he has a little bit of a look, but there's nothing he can really do. Fernando Alonso up into third place. The podium position places with the Alpine, that is crazy for him. I mean, the Alpine, I don't think has the pace, the right in a lot of ways to be up there, but he's making it work. I mean, after a couple of pretty poor races for Alonso with mechanical failures and all sorts of stuff like that, he's currently sitting in P3, coming towards the end of this Austrian Grand Prix. As you can see, Valtteri BOTTAS wins once again. I mean, it's just absolute domination for him, and I believe Lewis Hamilton is quite a way down the order this time. So it's going to give Bottas an even bigger lead at the front of this championship. We're going to come home in P13. A little bit disappointing to not get points this time round. I was kind of hoping we could get into the points, but P13 nevertheless, it's above where the car should sit. It's kind of around about where we've been coming these last few races. We get driver of the day because of our poor qualifying and boost up the grid, but yeah, P13 for us.
The Mercedes team pulled out a fantastic performance today. They should be proud. Anthony Davidson, how do you think they were able to set themselves apart today?
It was a question of right place, right time today. We were looking at an entirely different race before the safety car came out, but they were able to take full advantage after the field had been bunched up.
Mercedes are on top form once again after an excellent race weekend. It's great to see them up on that podium once again.
Okay, so there we go. Valtteri Bottas wins again. No real surprise there. Sergio Perez in second place for Red Bull. It's good to see him up on the podium here. And Fernando Alonso keeps that third place. He's up on the podium for Alpine. It's a great result for Alonso and Alpine, punching massively above his weight here with what his car is capable of. It's a great race from him to knock Ricciardo off the podium this time. I did not expect Alpine to be the next car. I mean, I'm pretty sure we've only had Mercedes and Red Bull on the podium so far. I was expecting McLaren or Ferrari to be up there next, but it's actually Alpine getting that next spot. As we look there, yep, Lundgaard finished way down the back of the order into the driver standings, and we're now down in P14. We've still only got 8 points to our name. Some drivers getting some more points here, like Esteban Ocon pulling ahead of us there. And yeah, Christian Lundgaard all the way down in P18, still not to score a point yet, but I don't really expect it, to be honest. And then in the Constructors' Championship, we're still sitting P8. However, Alfa Romeo, we do have to watch out for them. Alpine have now moved a fair way ahead. But anyway, that's it for this video, guys. Thank you very much for watching. If you enjoyed, please go ahead, like and subscribe, and I'll see you guys in the next video.